Hey guys, this is Mrs. Serrano again, and I'm here to show you guys how to email your teachers asking for help. I've had students in the past say that they were a little intimidated when it came to emailing their teachers asking for help. Either they didn't know how to find their teacher's email, they didn't really know what to write and if it makes sense, or some even said that they thought it might be a bother to their teachers, which it never is. We love helping you guys. And I wanted to give you guys some kind of guidelines for what to write in those emails and how to find your teacher's email address too. Now, because of the scheduling that we're going to have in COVID and this pandemic, we have a strange schedule. So for every 4 days of school, you're going to have 2 of those days being class with me, but only 1 of those days you're going to have class with me in person. So you're going to have to do a lot of work outside of class, away from me. And so if you're going to need help on something, you have to find a way to communicate with me outside of school. And that's where your email is going to come and play a big role, not just for my class, but for all of your classes. This is going to be a very different year for all of us. So in your school email, when you have it open, you're going to go ahead and click on the Compose button, and it'll open up a blank email for you. And then in the To section, this is where you type your teacher's email address. Well, let's say you don't know your teacher's email address exactly. So you got to know their name. Now, let's say I'm emailing Mrs. Serrano, and her first name is Jessica. So I'm going to put down the first letter of her first name, J, and then I'm going to start to type out her last name, Serrano. Now, I don't need to know how to spell her full name because after typing just a few letters, it will show Mrs. Serrano as an option for me to click on. And to make sure that you have a teacher's email in here and not another student's email, because that has happened. We have a lot of common names. Make sure that the email address you click on has names in the beginning and not numbers, because student emails will have ID numbers in the beginning, even though it comes up with a name. So double check on that. You don't want to be emailing another student who you don't even know when you're trying to get a hold of your teacher. I'm going to go ahead and click on Mrs. Serrano's name. It automatically fills all that out in the To section. Let's say I want to also email Mrs. Taylor too. So I can add a second email in here, no problem. Now Mrs. Taylor's first name is Gretchen, so I'm going to put G for Gretchen, and then I'm going to start to spell out her last name, and you can see there she is. I can choose her click on her name, and it just automatically puts that in. If I accidentally typed in the wrong teacher's name or misspelled or something, so if I did J, and then instead of hitting S on my keyboard, I hit W, which is right next to S, and I clicked on Mrs. Wyan's name, and I didn't mean to email Mrs. Wyatt, I can either click on the X next to her name, or with the cursor right behind her name, I can hit backspace, and it will just delete that out. And I'm going to hit that again to get rid of Mrs. Taylor's email address because she doesn't know that I'm recording this video. I don't want her to get a strange email from me being like, what the heck is going on? Now in the subject line, you're just going to write down something that briefly describes what you want help with. It doesn't have to be specific. It doesn't have to be very formal. You could really just write help. Or you can write, how do I do this? Or you can say, help with problem 4. It doesn't have to be very specific. And really, you can have the word help, or I've even had students email me with nothing in the subject line, and that's okay. The subject line's really just there to kind of help you and help your teacher understand what you are wanting help with or what you need from them. So I'm just going to leave the word help in my subject line, and I'm not going to capitalize it because it doesn't have to be formal. It can be just simple. Now, in the body of your email, you can see that I have a signature that automatically is typed out for me. That says my name, my department, my phone extension. You might have the signature too, or you might need to type out your name at the end of the email. And you don't really have to have either of those because when we get the email from you, it will say your name in the email when we open it. Google Gmail automatically puts that in. But, it's just something that's nice to have. And I'm going to say, hey, Mrs. Serrano, and hit enter a couple of times, and then I need help with, I don't know, Or I could say, I can't remember, how to I can't spell today, how to submit a video on Flipgrid. And then, so that's the problem, right? And make it specific too. If it was like a specific assignment and then a problem on the assignment, you can say, how do you do problem 16 on yesterday's assignment? You know, just make it specific so I know exactly what the problem is, so I know how to identify a way to correct the issue. So I'm going to go back in that. And then, so let's go back to my can't remember how to submit a video on Flipgrid example here. Then I can follow that up with, can you send me a link, dang, I cannot type today, to a video for this? Or I could write, can you tell me the steps again? Or it could be, can we meet on Google Meet to show me how? I mean, there's a bunch of different ways we can help you over email. Just because we're not face-to-face like before, like we're used to, doesn't mean I can't help you. Any of your teachers, we all have a great set of tools to help you through email and through Google Meet to get you through these assignments. So if you don't know what kind of method that you think your teacher needs to use or what would work best with you, just say, can you help me with this? And we will come up with a possible solution, a ways to get that information to you. We will suggest something to you. It doesn't have to be specific. And really, just looking at the way I've typed this, I've got all my capitalization, my grammar, my punctuation. That isn't necessary in emailing your teachers. If you don't want to use caps, that's okay. If you don't want to use as much punctuation, that's okay. We just need to be able to understand clearly what you're saying. So it's the words that are the most important part of your email. It also does not have to be very formal. So you don't have to make it seem like you're about to do some kind of presentation. If this is the way that you would talk to us in the classroom, type it out just like that. Or if you're talking to a classmate, type it out the same way you would ask them for help. It doesn't have to be very formal. And then to finish off my email, I'm going to say thanks. And I recommend when you're emailing any of your teachers, even if you're not asking them for help, they're just saying, hey, I turned this in, can you check on it? End it with thanks or with thank you. Just because it's polite, it's respectful, and I know that your teachers will really appreciate you ending your emails like that. And it's good practice too for when you have to send emails in the workplace setting after high school. Alright, so we've typed it up. You can see this is very simple, right? There's not a lot of words here, but it still gets the point across. That's all you really need. If you want, you can click down here and insert a photo. Maybe you have a photo and you've taken of your assignment with the work that you did. You can attach that in here, no problem. You can attach like a file too, like some kind of a PDF that you have downloaded on your Chromebook, or you can attach a file through your Google Drive. You know, whatever you need that you think the teacher needs to have to help you, you can attach that there. It'd be awesome. If you don't have anything else, though, and you think that this explains exactly what you need very clearly, then you don't have to attach anything. But it really doesn't have to be that complicated. So I hope that this helps you guys out with sending emails. Let me know if you have any other questions about this, and I look forward to seeing emails from you in the future.